on this exam, this practice exam, I'm going to talk about this practice question. So it involves accusations of guilt, and the possible guilty parties are A, B, C, D, or E, acting alone. So exactly one is guilty. Okay. And then people who have the option of exonerating them, their alibis, and then that's F, G, H, or J. So here's how we're going to look at this. After, you can do it a different way, but you're probably going to get stuck. There's other valid ways to solve this problem, but this works, and on your exam the analogous question will also work using this technique. So Francine says it had to be either Alice or Bob, but rather than making marks along Alice and Bob, which you might think to do, we're going to exonerate the other people. So the point is, we're going to be thinking of this as a series of exonerations rather than anything else, because when you say it's person A or B, you're not telling me whether it's person A or B, but you're telling me who it's not. So that's the true information. Okay, George says it could not be Bob or Cindy. So that's an explicit exoneration. And then Hans says that F and G are both telling the truth. So if F and G are both telling the truth, then all the exonerations are honest exonerations, and then A must be guilty. And that's Hans's opinion. And Jane says, well, Hans actually doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's sincere, but he's misguided. And actually, Francine and George are both lying. So what Jane is saying is that, in fact, how do you negate that? If somebody is lying, you take all the empty spots and you exonerate them. So you're saying if you're lying, and Francine said it's A or B has to be guilty, that means A and B are now exonerated because that was a lie. It can't be A or B. And if G was lying and B and C are exonerated, then actually the exonerated parties are A, D, and E, and so this is the guilty party. All right, so now the deal is the coach said that at least two of the team members, that means these guys, could be relied upon to tell the truth, which means max 2 liars. Okay, there could be fewer, but max 2 liars, so 3 exonerations must include a truth teller. So 3 exonerations means innocence. And so the only person who doesn't have at least 3 exonerations is A, so A is the guilty party because A has no other exonerations except the one. It's not enough. All right, now that wouldn't be enough to prove that he's guilty. It's just that all the other ones have been exonerated. Okay, so here's a question. Now we finished this puzzle. And what if instead we had this following scenario? This is a completely alternate scenario. What if somebody says, I know between Francine and George, one of them's lying and one of them's telling the truth? So we would say F exclusive or G. It's like saying you can have cake or ice cream but not both, right? It's exclusive or. It means F and not G, or not F and G. So that's what it means. So we're going to look at both scenarios. If I look at F and not G, what does it look like? We already have F, and F, I'm going to rewrite it, and not G, F and not G. Okay, F is just what we said F was. Not G is all the blanks become innocent, and the only possible guilty parties are the ones that G exonerated. So what do we get if both of these are true, then these are all exonerations, and then this one's guilty. So F and not G looks like this, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And I'm just going to leave that there for reference so I have room to do the other scenario. And the other scenario is, what if you have not F here and G here? Then what happens? Not F means you exonerate these guys, and G is just what it was. Now, if they're both telling the truth, then you get 0, 0, 0, and then 2 question marks. So we have F, not F, and G gives you exonerate, 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 unknown, unknown, which is blanks. But I'm just putting question marks because we don't have a grid over there. All right, so question mark means blank. So what happens if we said F exclusive or G? In this situation, we have to say one of these is true, which means any common exonerations have to stick. So in this case, you get to exonerate this guy and this guy, but we have an inconsistency here, so we don't know here, and an inconsistency here. We get to keep the common exonerations. And so that's what happens if you get an exclusive OR. And I think that's all you need to know for that question.